Look at this thing. 2 guys, 1 truck. 2 guys, 1 Bronco. That sounds kind of wild too. Where are you at? I know where you are. Peeling back the layers. Luke, you want to talk about this? See that?
Talk about it.
Where are you starting and what are you doing?
The whatever cylinder this is on an LS, the back cylinder here. So then that's our shortest one, and then from there we're going to run forward, but we want to still keep in mind what's going on forward of the rear two here. So this we're talking about having come up and do a pretty gnarly snake bend, and then the other one will come over and do a similar sweep up before it comes back down. I think this one we're talking about was going to go here. This one's going to go to here.
Probably vertical stack like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so originally this needs to get checked every time. If it's going up, then it needs to be built where they're going up.
Right.
If they're going to go somewhere else, then, you know, same thing. Also have a socket on here that you just keep local that you're checking.
Okay.
Oh, that gets the shoulder. Yeah, so what I'd do is not go bone or air up, but I'd go think about this. I think you're going to terminate pretty early.
Yeah.
You know, but get where you can get a loop and get back in, and that should get the length similar to this.
Yeah.
If you want to use the soft tape, I also have the soft tape, and you can just measure so you know. That guy is going to shuffle over and then transition and follow. As long as you're staying within this.
Yeah. I know we don't want to go straight up and down 90. Is there any thought of going forward a little bit to go and have room? I don't know how much we can sweep. And I guess if we need to cut this, we can cut that more.
That's the same kind of pressure Logan does when he trims my back hair. We're barely doing it.
Yeah, it's just like hair.
Like, come on, dude, fucking mow the thing down. And then he's all,
Gets stuck in the trimmer, yeah.
I think that this is a no-go to go forward.
Okay, yeah.
That's why if it has to be something where you're juggling at least a U-bend here.
Yeah.
It's funneling in.
We got kind of a secondary guy that's playing with.
Okay. So you're gonna have to go to the outside.
Yeah, okay.
That's gonna go here.
Yeah.
You know, or it goes to this bottom one.
Well, what we might get a win off then is if we end up staying high, then our front two cylinders can snake under and get in there. This is gonna be the tricky guy again.
Well, that'll fit.
Yeah.
That can go all the way to the front.
Yeah, okay.
So that's the thing. I don't think you have enough of this to get to there.
Cutting it too short, and it's gonna be like
restricted style.
Yep.
I'm gonna keep going. I feel like you should jump on something because this is gonna be. I need to be with you.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
That's gonna be too much. If you get too far, and then I come over here and go, nope, we got to redo it.
Okay.
It's gonna be like that. So I'd figure something to do, and I'm just gonna talk about this for a minute.
Yep.
And that's it.
Go to the muffler then on the other side.
Okay, perfect.
Yep.
Awesome. phase 2 of Jeff's Bronco. So what this means, first off, that's rough. Peeling back the layers on this thing, gotta be really careful what you do with rehab vehicles. You gotta check the foundation and make sure that everything makes sense before you add so much, because sometimes I look at this and I go, oh man, I'm glad we added so much cage structure, but there's a lot to process as far as how the other people did it and make sure to catch some of the stuff. Like, just the easiest thing is that's a dangerous looking situation for an A-pillar, especially one of the most structural parts of a car. We will fix that and it will be better. No matter what, the trajectory of this tube is going to stay the same, but we might just miter it and plate everything in so it's sturdy. But what we're doing right now is phase 2. Like I said, this is headers, exhaust, skid plates. There's a lot of stuff that's been done that's not on because we pretty much needed to do order of operations on the thing. Needed to get a lot of the skid plate shapes allocated under there to figure out where the exhaust exit wants to be. Jeff's expectation is to have 2 as rear as we can get exhaust exits before the rear axle housing under the car. He wants to have a Vivian style exit. I know we've talked about organic shapes that it may look like, just different shapes. You know, something under there, let's call it a tulip, where we need to have the skid plate laid out with enough footprint to get that. The run from the header to the collector and then the exhaust and then putting a muffler on is very short and very complex, and it has to also transition from outside of frame to the inside of the frame, going through the frame. Yeah, that sums it up. But the Tyson's under here. You're good, I'm just talking. Say hi. There's a diamond shape cut into the frame. What we did is we had to map this. So Luke is, you know, sorry for jumping around. There's a new transfer case transmission cross member. That had to be done because the one that was there wasn't gonna let us run clean lines of skid plate or belly pan under the car. While we were there, we extended the front of that because we go, well, why are we gonna have a skid plate that pretty much ends at the T-case and goes rearward, and we're not protecting vitals like an oil pan or a trans oil pan or anything like that. So we not only made the new one there that's really gonna be proficient for the skid plate to mount to and have kind of a boat hole shape to it, but we also extended it forward. That goes all the way to here. That's got a skid under it, 3/16, and then it bolts on here. So there's a new bolt-on assembly that protects all the vitals here. Clears the drive shaft on the other side for the front beam. Go through there and then we go, okay, so the skid's not on. Next time you'll probably be able to get an update with the skid on, but it's gorgeous. It goes all the way out to where the seam is under here. Covers all the tube work here. It's 3-dimensional, runs up near the trailer or the radius arm mount as well. And then it draws all the way through. It's notched around the rear trailing arm, notched around the drive shaft. So it's a big, beautiful shape under there. And what that does is that gives us enough footprint to get, you know, what I'm anticipating to be 10 to 12 inches of exhaust exit in a dynamic shape under the car that's flush with the skid plate. Similar vibe to Vivian on the side of the car, just a big footprint. Gives us that, gives us enough for a V-band, enough for a Borla muffler. That's a 8-inch cylindrical muffler, 13-inch total, but we're probably gonna trim some. And then what has to happen, I know it looks rough right now, but we're getting to the point of just trimming this stuff back, boxing it all in, chrome ollie plate, broke everything. There are staggered holes in the frame. This tube is gonna dive in, this is 3.5 inch. It's gonna dive in through there and then it's gonna pop back up on the other side of the frame. Facilitate the muffler, facilitate the exits. So again, right now you guys are getting a very raw example of where we're at. And you know, we'll go back and we'll fine tune everything, weld everything, prep everything, just, it'll be nice. So this is kind of the Bronco update. Things to talk about with the headers. I'm gonna have Luke start on this side first. Important things for this application. It's a 4:1. It is not an equal length. I don't think by any means we're gonna get an equal length just because of space constraints, but we'll at least try to honor it and get it close. Provisions on this side are not as tight. The coilover goes here, so there's an invisible cylinder that has to be built around. And then the other side has a steering shaft that's not there yet. The rack and how the rack is orientated in the car. Spline here, what I'm thinking is servo is gonna live here. So spline U-joint up, spline into the servo that's kicked a little bit, favoring going into that line. U-joint over here, and then around some kind of rod end or hold, standoff, and then shooting up to the column. So that gets everything out of the way of being lower, but there's still, it's just tight. We've trimmed back a lot of the firewall. This was where the tire needed to clear for a 40. Plus it's short up another 1.5 inches or so, just to be safe. So a lot of that fat had to come out of there. I know we're kind of at this point of why is there still any firewall here, but no matter what, we're saving some time and money by just keeping this where it's at. And at the end, like the end result here is, powder coat everything, put, some kind of heat deflection material everywhere, and like just get this thing back to clean, and it will. So right now, meat and potatoes, headers, clearancing the spark plugs, clearancing the plug wires. Those are all things that I've screwed up before, where it's super hard to get a spark plug out, or you're smoking the spark plug wires. So that's where we're at on this thing. Quick little Carrie update. Talk to you guys later.